Let me explain this in a very clear and simple way so you can really understand what is happening here, because once you see it, everything starts to fall into place. There is someone in your life right now who is not just thinking about you normally. They are deeply affected by you. So much so that they are lying awake at night, replaying moments, overthinking conversations, and trying to understand what changed inside them. From the outside, nothing may have looked dramatic. Everything might have seemed normal. But inside them, something shifted in a way they did not expect. And the most important part is this. It was not one big event that caused this. It was two very simple, natural moments you gave them. Two things you did without thinking, without planning, and without realizing their impact. To you, they were small. To this person, they were unforgettable. Those two moments reached something inside them that had been closed off for a long time. And now they cannot unfeel it. This is where the energy becomes deeper, and the cards are showing the emotional truth behind it. The first strong energy present is High Priestess. This energy speaks about things that are hidden, silent, and unspoken. It is about feelings that exist beneath the surface, but are not fully understood yet. In this situation, there is a strong emotional connection between you and this person, but it has not been clearly expressed in words. It exists more like a feeling, a knowing, something both of you can sense, but cannot fully explain. This person feels that connection very strongly right now. It is not loud, but it is intense. It sits in their mind and heart quietly, yet powerfully. They cannot ignore it anymore. And that is what is making them restless. Now, one of the biggest turning points in this energy is connected to two very specific moments you gave them. One of those moments comes through as something very simple, a time when you were completely yourself. No filter, no effort, no awareness of how you were being seen. You were just real, honest, natural. Maybe you said something without thinking. Maybe you expressed a feeling openly. Maybe you reacted in a way that was completely unguarded. To you, it meant nothing special. But to them, it changed something. Because right after that, the energy of King of Swords comes in strongly. This represents their mind, their logic, and the way they usually control their emotions. This person is someone who thinks before they feel. They rely on logic, structure, and mental clarity. They do not like emotional confusion. They prefer to understand everything clearly and keep control of their thoughts and reactions. But you disrupted that system without even trying. When they saw you being so natural and real, it did not fit into their usual way of understanding people. Their mind could not categorize it easily. And because of that, they started thinking about you more than they intended, trying to analyze, trying to understand, trying to make sense of feelings they normally keep under control. Then comes the energy of the moon, and this is where things become even more emotionally intense. The moon represents confusion, emotional uncertainty, and feelings that are not fully clear. This is exactly what this person is experiencing now. They are not sure what they feel anymore. They are not sure why they feel it. And the more they try to think logically, the more confused they become. There is attraction, curiosity, emotional pull, and inner fear all mixed together. They may even doubt themselves at times. One moment they feel drawn to you, and the next moment they feel unsure or overwhelmed by those feelings. This back and forth creates inner tension that they are struggling to handle. And then something unexpected happens emotionally, which is shown through the Tower. This is not about external destruction, but internal emotional shock. Something inside them breaks down. Their old way of thinking about relationships, control, or emotional safety is suddenly challenged. You have triggered a shift in them that they did not plan for and did not see coming. The Tower energy explains why they feel so unsettled. It is not just attraction. It is a breakdown of old emotional patterns. They are realizing that they cannot control how they feel about you in the same way they control everything else in their life. And that realization is intense for them. Finally, there is the energy of Page of Wands, and this brings a very important shift. Despite all the confusion, emotional tension, and mental overthinking, there is still curiosity. There is still interest. There is still a desire to understand more about you and this connection. The Page of Wands is youthful, curious, and emotionally alive energy. It represents the part of them that wants to explore, even if they are unsure. This is why they cannot fully detach from you. Even when their mind gets confused and their emotions feel overwhelming, there is still something inside them that wants to look again, think again, and maybe even reconnect in some way. So when you bring all of this together, what is really happening is simple in emotional truth, but complex in feeling. You have affected someone who usually stays in control of their emotions and thoughts. You made them feel something real, something unexpected, something they cannot easily explain or ignore. And now they are sitting with that truth, trying to understand you, trying to understand themselves, and most importantly, trying to understand why 2 small moments from you have changed so much inside them. The second thing you did was something very small on the surface, but it had a deep effect on this person. You remembered a detail about them, something they once said in passing. Maybe it was weeks ago, maybe even longer. It wasn't something they thought anyone would notice or keep in mind, but you did. And later, you brought it up again naturally, without making it a big moment. You just showed them in a quiet way that you had been listening, that what they said actually stayed with you. This connects strongly with the 6 of Cups energy. This energy is all about softness, warmth, and genuine care. It's about simple kindness that feels pure and real, not forced, not calculated, just something that comes from the heart. And that's exactly what happened here. You didn't do it to impress them. You weren't trying to create a reaction. You simply showed them that you noticed them as a person. For this individual, that meant more than it might seem. They are someone who gives a lot to others, but doesn't always feel truly seen or understood in return. So when you remembered something so specific about them, it created a powerful emotional moment inside them. It made them feel valued in a way they're not used to. They didn't even know how to respond to it properly. There was a quiet shock in them, almost like disbelief. They kept thinking about it afterward, replaying it in their mind. And every time they did, it softened them a little more toward you. Their feelings grew naturally from that moment, without them planning it or expecting it. And that's also why they feel a bit overwhelmed now. Because this wasn't part of their plan. They didn't expect to feel this strongly, and now they don't really know how to handle it. But deep down, they also don't want to let go of it. Now the Tower energy comes in, and it explains what happened internally for them. The Tower here is not about something destructive in a loud or dramatic way. It represents a sudden internal shift. Something inside them changed quickly and permanently. Their emotional expectations, their sense of control, and the way they thought they would feel in a situation like this, all of that got disrupted. And it didn't happen through a big event. It happened in ordinary moments. A conversation, a message, a small interaction that carried unexpected emotional weight. Something inside them just shifted because of you. And now nothing feels the same for them anymore. Even if everything looks normal on the outside, their inner world has changed. There is also strong Scorpio energy showing here, which speaks of deep emotions that are felt intensely but not easily expressed. This person is likely feeling a lot more than they are saying. On the outside, they may appear calm or unaffected, but internally, they are processing everything very deeply. Alongside that, there is Taurus energy, which brings in attachment, emotional stability, and a strong sense of attraction that builds slowly but lasts deeply. Cancer energy is also present, which adds emotional sensitivity and memory. This combination creates a strong emotional bond that develops quietly but powerfully. There are also repeating numbers coming through 8, 11, and 22. These may show up in dates, times, or important moments connected to this situation. They are being highlighted as signs of alignment and timing. Then comes the Ace of Cups energy, which represents the beginning of a new emotional experience. This is where feelings overflow beyond control. What this person feels has grown beyond what they expected or prepared for. It is no longer contained. It keeps expanding. They may try to hold it back or understand it logically, but emotionally, it is already flowing. And that flow is real, steady, and continuing to grow. This feels like a new emotional beginning, something that is just starting to open in a very real and meaningful way. It is not about the past, and it is not something fading away. Instead, it carries the energy of something fresh, something that has the potential to become deep, lasting, and emotionally powerful over time. What stands out most is how strongly this person reacts to you on a physical and emotional level. When they are around you, or even when they see your messages or hear your voice, they feel something inside their body that they cannot easily explain. It feels like warmth spreading through their chest, something they notice every single time. This reaction is both exciting and overwhelming for them. They are not used to feelings that happen so naturally and so strongly, especially ones they cannot control or fully understand. Because of this, they often feel confused, as if their emotions are moving faster than their thoughts. They usually rely on logic and self-control, but with you, those defenses do not seem to work in the same way. There is also a lot happening beneath the surface that they do not openly show. In quiet moments, especially late at night, or when everything is still, thoughts of you keep returning. Even during normal daily tasks, their mind can suddenly drift back to you without warning. They may not express these feelings, but they are there, building slowly and steadily. It is the kind of emotional pressure that grows over time, becoming harder to ignore the more it develops. There are also small signs and details that seem to connect to the situation in meaningful ways. The color green stands out strongly, which may symbolize growth, calmness, or something emotionally significant linked to either you or them. There is also an impression of books or reading, suggesting curiosity, learning, or someone who naturally seeks understanding in depth. Coffee also feels important here, possibly pointing to shared routines, quiet moments, or memories that hold emotional weight. In addition, the letters L or E feel significant, possibly connected to names or meaningful initials tied to this connection. At its core, this connection is mutual. It is not one-sided. There is a recognition between the two of you that feels natural and unforced, as if your energies respond to each other without needing explanation. When they are connected to you, something inside them feels aligned, like a sense of familiarity mixed with emotional intensity. Because of this, they find themselves comparing other experiences in their life to how they feel when they are with you or thinking about you. Nothing else seems to match that same emotional depth anymore. At the same time, they are struggling internally. They have built strong emotional boundaries over time, shaped by past experiences and a need to stay in control of their feelings. These walls were meant to protect them, but your presence has quietly moved past those defenses. Now they are in a position where they are feeling something real and intense, even though part of them is not fully ready to accept it. This creates inner conflict. One part of them wants to stay guarded and careful, while another part is already deeply emotionally involved. Even if they are not expressing it clearly, something has already shifted inside them. They are not the same as before, and they cannot simply go back to how they used to feel or behave. They are choosing to feel this. They are choosing you. They are just trying to figure out the right timing, the right words, and the courage to finally show you what has been building inside them. There is strong energy here of deep thinking and emotional confusion at the same time. It feels like this person is constantly going back and forth in their mind. One moment they feel sure about you, and the next moment they start overthinking everything again. Different energies seem to be influencing this situation. There is curiosity, emotional intensity, and also a need for stability. At times, it feels like they are trying to understand something that doesn't fully make sense to them. They are trying to explain their feelings logically, but the truth is, this is not something logic can fully solve. It is coming from the heart. There is also a strong sense of hope connected to this situation. Even though there may have been confusion or distance, the feeling between you and this person is not disappearing. It is still there, quietly growing in the background. What is between you two is not just a passing phase. It is something that has created a real impact on them. Something inside them has changed because of you, and they cannot ignore it anymore. Even if they try, it keeps coming back to their thoughts. There is a possibility of communication coming in. It may not be something dramatic or perfectly planned. It could be simple, even casual at first, but it will carry meaning underneath it. This person may say something that reveals more than they intended. They might mention something you said before, or bring up a memory that shows they have been thinking about you more than they have admitted. In their own way, they are trying to reconnect, even if they don't fully express everything at once. When this moment comes, it is important to allow it to unfold naturally. Don't dismiss it or downplay it. Let them express what they have been holding inside. Even if it feels small at first, it carries deeper meaning. At the core of this situation, there is a choice being made. This person is slowly realizing that you are not just someone temporary in their life. You are someone they are seriously considering emotionally. They are not being forced into this feeling. They are choosing it. Quietly, privately, and carefully, they are leaning toward you. They are choosing to feel this connection instead of running away from it. What stands out the most is that this connection is built on something very real. It is not about games or confusion. It is about genuine attention, understanding, and emotional awareness between two people. The way you naturally notice details and feel deeply is something that has strongly affected them. You didn't have to try too hard or act differently. Just being yourself created an impact on them that they did not expect. They don't just want to be around you casually. They want to feel understood by you. They want to be seen in the same way they feel they see you. That mutual recognition is what has made this connection so intense for them. There is still hesitation, but underneath that hesitation is a growing desire to move forward in some way. Even if they are slow, even if they are uncertain, the feelings are not going away. There is also a strong sign of something meaningful developing over time. It may not unfold instantly, but it is not stuck either. There is movement happening beneath the surface. Symbols of connection, stability, and emotional value are strongly present here. It feels like something that can become important and lasting if both sides allow it to grow naturally without pressure. Overall, this is a situation where someone is slowly realizing the depth of what they feel. They are still finding their way, but their heart is becoming more honest with them. And what they are discovering is that you matter to them more than they initially understood.